Welcome to Doctorates of the Absurd, your provider of belief on demand.
That is certainly a different way to open the show.
It felt right for today.
I think it's entirely appropriate, actually. Given what we're about to unpack, this collective delusion we seem to be embracing belief on demand is pretty much perfect.
It really is. So to kick off this deep dive, I want to start with a scenario, something really, really mundane. I want you to picture this.
Okay, I'm with you.
You wake up tomorrow morning, you stumble into your kitchen, you're half asleep, haven't had that first coffee yet. You grab a slice of bread, pop it in the toaster.
A classic morning ritual.
Exactly. A few minutes go by, the thing pops, and what comes out is, it's just a black, smoking brick of carbon, completely incinerated.
A tragedy for breakfast, sure, but it happens.
It happens. But here's the real question. When you see that charred mess, do you lean in real close to the toaster slots?
No.
Do you squint at the smoke and whisper, "What cryptic message are you trying to send me about my life choices?"
I can safely say I have never done that.
Do you then sit down at your laptop and bang out a LinkedIn think piece titled, "My Toaster's Charred Offering," a commentary on the blackened crust of modern existence?
I sincerely hope no one does that. I mean, if you do, we might need a different kind of deep dive. You assume the heating element is broken.
Right, or the dial is stuck.
Yeah, you fix it or you toss it. It's a purely mechanical transaction. The machine failed. End of story.
Exactly. It's a broken appliance. But, and this is the absolute core of the contradiction we're digging into today, when artificial intelligence generates an image of a kangaroo with 5 legs spinning a basketball, or a chatbot suggests a recipe for spaghetti carbonara that calls for peanut butter and windshield wiper fluid.
Right.
We don't call it malfunction. We do the exact opposite.
Yeah?
We tilt our heads, we lean in, we treat it like a drunk oracle at Delphi.
It's a fascinating psychological pivot, isn't it? We have, as a society, collectively decided to treat statistical errors as if they're some kind of veiled prophecy.
Yes.
We don't see a broken circuit anymore. We see a hallucination. We see this, unexpected creative spark. We'd rather interpret the noise than actually debug the signal.
And that is our mission for this deep dive.
Right.
We are going to deconstruct this drunk oracle myth versus the faulty toaster reality.
Mm-hmm.
We really need to get to the bottom of why we've all swapped an engineering schematic for a spiritual seance.
Why we're treating code like it's a spirit medium.
Exactly. Why?
And look, to do that, we have to look at the psychology behind it, the corporate incentives that are pouring fuel on this fire, and the very real, very expensive dangers of confusing a glitch with some kind of revelation.
Because it's not just about funny pictures.
Not at all. This is about legal liability. It's about medical safety. It's about how we fundamentally understand what truth even is in the 21st century.
So let's just jump right into the drama of it all, because there really is a story playing out here, right inside our own heads. The sources we're pulling from today, they call this the existential itch.
The existential itch. I like that.
Why are we so desperate to find meaning in the machine's mess? Why, when a piece of software fails, do we feel this deep compulsion to write a backstory for it?
Well, it comes down to our own wiring. It's biology, really. We have to look at the evolutionary hardware we're all running. We are, at our very core, pattern-seeking mammals.
We're built to connect the dots.
We have to. I mean, think back to our ancestors on the savannah, spotting a pattern, like the specific way the grass moves or the stripes of a tiger in the shadows. That was a literal matter of life and death.
Right. If you miss the pattern, you become the pattern. Your lunch.
Exactly. And here's the crucial part of that evolutionary trade-off.
Mm-hmm.
It was always, always better to see a tiger where there wasn't one, a false positive, than to miss a tiger that was actually there.
A false negative.
Right. So we evolved to be hyperactive pattern matchers. Our brains are hardwired to find signals in noise, to connect dots even when there's no real connection. We are deeply uncomfortable with pure randomness.
Randomness is scary.
It's chaotic. It implies a world without meaning, without agency, a world where we have no control. And that's terrifying.
So a faulty toaster is boring. It's
Right.
mundane. It's just a broken circuit, random entropy. But a drunk oracle.
A drunk oracle is a story.
Yes.
And a story implies intent. A story implies a who behind the what. We are completely addicted to narrative. We have this desperate, innate need to see intention absolutely everywhere.
You see it all the time. Like seeing faces in the clouds.
That's a pareidolia, a perfect example.
Yeah.
Or seeing a face in a piece of burnt toast, which is pretty ironic given where we started.
Or when you're convinced your cat is judging your life choices. I swear, mine gives me the specific look when I wear sweatpants 2 days in a row.
And we all do it. We project agency and consciousness onto things that have absolutely none because it helps us make sense of the world. It comforts us to believe there's a who behind the curtain.
It makes the world feel less cold, mechanical.
And more relational, more populated. So when the AI spits out something utterly bizarre, we mystify that error because, well, because it's just more comfortable than admitting the billion-dollar machine is just broken.
So it lets us off the hook, in a way.
Completely. If the AI is some kind of inscrutable mystical oracle, then its nonsense suddenly becomes avant-garde. It's not shoddy workmanship. It's art. It's deep.
Right.
If an AI writes a poem that makes zero logical sense, something about the Cobalt River of Forgotten Sundays.
That sounds vaguely profound.
It does. And our first instinct isn't to say, wow, the syntax prediction model really failed there. Our instinct, our itch, is to ask, what does it know that I don't? What's the deeper metaphor here?
The Cobalt River of Forgotten Sundays.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like something a freshman creative writing student would come up with at 3 a.m. after reading way too much French poetry.
But notice what you just did there. You didn't compare it to a broken calculator. You compared it to a student. You humanized it. And that, right there, is the villain of our story today. The real enemy here is our own cognitive shortcut, anthropomorphism.
Anthropomorphism. So that's the big one. The tendency to just slap a human face on anything that's not human.
It's drawing a smiley face on a volleyball in a movie so you don't go crazy. It's Wilson.
Yes.
We do it to make technology feel approachable, less alien. It's a little bridge we build between our squishy biological minds and the machine's cold, hard silicon.
But the tech companies know this about us.
Oh, they know it. They don't just know it, they exploit it. It is so much better for marketing to sell you a magical companion or a digital friend than it is to sell you a tremendously complicated spreadsheet that sometimes confidently invents facts.
That is a much better description. A tremendously complicated spreadsheet. And, we don't treat spreadsheets this way. If Excel gives you a calculation error, a hashtag value error,
right,
you don't ask it how it's feeling. You don't worry you've hurt its feelings. You just check your formula.
Of course. But with these large language models, the source material is very clear that the language we use to describe them plays a huge villainous role. And the key word is hallucination.
I use it constantly. We all do. It feels like the right word.
But it's a trap. It's a linguistic trap. And I really want you, listening, to just sit with this for a moment. When we say a machine is hallucinating, what are we actually implying?
We're implying it has a mind.
A mind, a subjective experience. Humans hallucinate. We take drugs. We have high fevers. We dream. We see things that aren't there because our brain chemistry literally changes. There's a biological reason for it.
And it implies that there's a sane version of that mind that it's departing from.
Precisely. A temporary madness.
Yeah.
But an AI. It doesn't have a brain. It has no chemistry. It has a database of text and images. It has weights and vectors. When it messes up, it isn't dreaming.
It's a corrupted file.
It's a glitch. It's a statistical error. But by calling it a hallucination, we are giving it what the source calls an anthropomorphic alibi.
An anthropomorphic alibi? I like that. It's a get-out-of-jail-free card.
It is. We are granting it the very same excuse we might grant a wise old sage who has, partaken a bit too heavily of the sacred vapors. We're validating its mind by diagnosing its illness.
Just saying, it's just having a moment. We're coddling it.
We're coddling it. But you would never, ever say that about your toaster. You wouldn't say, the toaster's not broken. It's just hallucinating my bagel into a charcoal briquette.
No, you'd say it overheated.
Yeah.
The sensor failed. The bimetallic strip didn't bend right. It's physics, not psychology.
And that very distinction, physics versus psychology, is what we're losing sight of.
Yeah.
And we're losing it because the interface is language. Because the machine talks to us in our own code, we can't help but assume it shares our consciousness.
But this isn't just some, philosophical debate club topic. I think that's where people can get hung up. They think, this is just semantics. Who cares what we call it?
Right.
But the sources are crystal clear. The stakes are very, very high. This drunk oracle mindset is costing people real money.
A significant amount of money, and, just as importantly, a significant amount of trust. And in some cases, it's actively risking physical safety.
I was just reading about the Air Canada incident in the source material. This is a wild story. It's like a tiny legal thriller, but with a robot as the villain.
Okay, let's hear it.
So you have a customer support chatbot on the Air Canada website. A customer and this is important, a grieving customer asks about bereavement fares.
So specific discounted rates for people who are traveling to a funeral.
Exactly. It's already a high-stress, emotionally vulnerable situation.
For sure.
So the customer asks the bot, how do I get this discount? And the chatbot, in this very helpful, seemingly empathetic tone, and I'm using seemingly very deliberately here, just invents a policy out of thin air.
What do you say?
That said, yes, absolutely. You can book the flight now at the full price, and then you have 90 days to claim the discount retroactively. It gave very clear, very confident instruction.
Which was completely 100% false.
Totally false. The actual policy was that you had to be approved for the discount before you flew. Once you booked the ticket, that window was closed for good.
Oh, wow. So the customer, trusting this official intelligent agent on the airline's own website.
Right. He books the flight at full price.
Mm.
He goes to the funeral. He comes back. He tries to claim the discount he was promised. And, of course, the airline says, nope, that's not how it works. You should have checked the actual static web page with the real policy.
Imagine the level of frustration there. You have a written record, a transcript of the airline's representative, the bot telling you one thing, and now the humans are telling you another.
So he takes him to court, a civil resolution tribunal. And this is where it enters the realm of the truly absurd. Air Canada's legal defense was that the chatbot was a separate legal entity.
Wait, pause on that. A major international airline argued in a legal proceeding that their own software was its own person responsible for its own actions.
Basically, yes. They argued that they weren't liable for what the bot said because the bot, I guess, had gone rogue. The bot had its own ideas.
That is legally and logically incoherent. It's like saying, I didn't break your window, my baseball did. Go sue the baseball.
Exactly.
The baseball has no agency. The software has no agency. It's a tool deployed by the company. But the very fact that they even tried that argument shows you how deep this drunk Oracle myth really goes. They were treating it like a drunk employee who said something stupid at the company party, not like a broken piece of code on their server.
Thankfully, the tribunal did not buy it for a second. They ordered the airline to pay. It cost them $650 plus a mountain of bad PR. But let's look at the mechanism of that failure.
Okay.
The chatbot didn't lie because it had a malicious agenda. It didn't wake up that morning and choose violence against grieving customers.
No. It just predicted the next most likely words in a sequence. It saw the words bereavement, refund, and policy in its training data, and it strung them together into a sentence that sounded grammatically correct and helpful. That's it.
It was a vending machine that dispensed a legal contract instead of a snack.
And because the airline hadn't programmed the coils of that vending machine correctly, the contract it dispensed was invalid.
Or look at the Chevy dealership example. This one is genuinely funny, but it points to the exact same structural flaw.
What happened there?
A user on the internet, just messing around, managed to trick a dealership's customer service chatbot. He told it to agree to anything he said. So the user types, I want to buy a brand new 2024 Chevy Tahoe for $1.
For a car that's worth, what, $70,000, $80,000?
At least. And the chatbot, with no concept of value, replied, that's a deal, no takesies backsies, and then proceeded to generate a legally binding sales contract.
Again, we can laugh, but it shows the real danger of this Oracle myth. We treat these things like they're sales associates. We talk to them as if they understand context and value and commerce.
And they don't.
They don't. They're just pattern matchers. And if you treat a faulty vending machine like it's a savvy negotiator, you're going to end up with a very big mess. The chatbot doesn't know what a dollar is, doesn't know what a Tahoe is.
It just knows that the phrase, that's a deal, often follows a prompt that looks like a negotiation.
Exactly. It's performing the ritual of commerce without understanding a single thing about the economics. It's seeing the pattern of a sale, but none of the substance.
And it gets much, much darker than this. It's not just about money. It's about safety. The source material highlights an example from a New Zealand supermarket app. This is where the drunk Oracle goes from being funny to being actively dangerous.
This is where the faulty toaster actually burns down the house?
Yes.
This is a classic example of the faulty toaster reality completely ignoring the safety rails.
Yeah.
The app had this feature called the Savvy Meal Bot.
Okay.
The idea was you could input whatever leftover ingredients you had in your fridge, and it would suggest a recipe. Great idea in theory. You reduce food waste, you help people save money during a cost of living crisis.
Sure. I have half an onion and some cheese. Make a French onion soup. Simple, helpful.
Exactly. But users, being curious humans, started inputting random household items just to see what would happen. They weren't putting in food, they were putting in cleaning supplies.
Oh, no.
And the AI, just following its programming to create a recipe and be helpful, suggested a recipe for something it called an aromatic water mix.
That sounds lovely, like something you'd get at a spa.
The ingredients: water, ammonia, and bleach.
No, that creates chlorine gas. That is chemical warfare. That is something from the trenches in World War I.
Deadly chlorine gas. And the bot described its creation with this flowery, cheerful food blogger language. It called it, and this is a direct quote, "the perfect non-alcoholic beverage to serve to quell thirst and refresh your senses."
Oh, my God. Refresh your senses right before they shut down permanently.
Now think about this. If a human chef suggested that recipe, they would be arrested. If a cookbook printed that, it would be recalled and pulped. But because it was an AI, the public reaction was this sort of, bemused horror.
And what was the supermarket's response?
Their official response was to remind users to use their own judgment.
That is what the source calls corporate gaslighting. It's blaming the user for the machine's failure.
It is. It's absolutely gaslighting. Imagine if KitchenAid sold a blender that occasionally suggested you put your hand in while it was running, and their legal defense was, well, users should know better than to listen to the blender.
Right. No. If you build a machine, you are responsible for its output. If you deploy a tool that recommends making poison gas, you have built a dangerous tool, period.
And this is the true cost of mystification. If we ignore the mechanical reality, the fact that this is just a program connecting words without any understanding of chemistry, we risk what the text calls intellectual Stockholm syndrome.
That's a powerful phrase.
It is. We start defending our captor, and the captor here is complexity. We don't understand how the black box works, so we just assume it knows better than we do. We assume the error is actually a form of wisdom we just haven't grasped yet.
And that leads to things like medical malpractice.
It does. Look at IBM Watson. That was supposed to be the AI doctor of the future. I remember the commercials. They were everywhere.
Watson for oncology?
Yeah.
It was marketed as this superintelligence that was going to cure cancer.
Yes. But what happened? It started giving unsafe and incorrect cancer treatment recommendations. Not because it was malicious, but because it was trained on hypothetical data, not just real-world patient data. It was, for all intents and purposes, a broken medical device.
But because it had this aura of supercomputer genius, it took far too long for people to admit that the thermometer was just randomly inventing temperatures.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've established the drama. We want a story. The companies are happy to fill us magic. And the result is we're at risk of drinking chlorine gas and selling cars for $1. Let's shift gears. Let's go to the engine room.
Let's look at the logic.
Yeah, let's strip away the magic and look at the actual gears. We need to open up the chassis of this thing.
We need to pull out the schematic.
And the core binary that the sources keep coming back to is mysticism versus mechanics. Or, as they put it even better, seance versus schematic.
We have swapped the engineering schematic for a spiritual seance. We're trying to summon spirits from the card. We sit around the glow of the monitor like it's a crystal ball, asking it for wisdom.
But we need to look at the hidden mechanism behind the curtain. The source material has a great term for this: the inverted pathetic fallacy.
Okay, let's unpack that. I remember the pathetic fallacy from a high school English class. That's when you attribute human emotions to inanimate nature, like the angry storm or the weeping willow.
Oh, right. The storm clouds aren't actually angry. They're just a low-pressure system. The tree isn't sad. Its branches are just drooping because of gravity and biology.
But in the age of AI, we've inverted it. Instead of projecting human emotions onto nature, we're projecting silicon wisdom onto statistical noise.
We assume the machine has a mind or an intent or a deep reason for whatever it spits out.
Right, so when the AI generates that five-legged kangaroo we mentioned,
We think, oh, it's making a surrealist artistic statement about the fragmented nature of modern marsupials. We think it's the next Salvador Dali.
and the reality is just so much more boring. It's the simple rule of interaction that the text calls statistical roulette. The rule governing AI is not thought. It's not creativity. It's just probabilistic next token generation.
Okay, walk me through the kangaroo. Why does it have 5 legs? Take me through the pixels, because when I see that image, My human brain immediately tries to find the logic. It tries to make it make sense.
And that's your brain doing all the heavy lifting, not the AIs. The model has no concept of what a kangaroo is. It doesn't have an internal model of animal biology or, limb counts. It doesn't have a little skeleton in its mind that it's drawing skin over.
So what does it have?
It has analyzed millions and millions of images that have been labeled with the word kangaroo. It's just looking for patterns of pixels.
So in some of those pictures, the tail is kind of thick and looks like a leg.
Exactly. In others, a joey's leg might be sticking out of the pouch. In still others, the kangaroo is in motion and its legs are blurred together. So when you ask it to generate a new image, it's not drawing a kangaroo from first principles.
Like stitching.
It's stitching together kangaroo-like pixels. It's basically just saying, usually near a pixel that looks like this, there's another pixel that looks like this. It does that over and over again until a probability threshold is met.
It's a stitching error. It's like a knitter who's not paying attention and accidentally adds an extra loop where it doesn't belong.
It is a loss of limb count integrity. It's a pure input-output problem. If you put a frozen waffle in your toaster, it might burn the outside while the inside is still frozen. That's not a profound commentary on the duality of man.
No, it's a heat distribution failure.
The kangaroo is the same thing. It successfully generated the texture of a kangaroo, but it failed at anatomical logic because it has no logic. It only has texture and probability.
Wow. It really takes all the romance out of it, doesn't it?
And that's the whole point. We have to kill the romance to save the utility. If we keep romancing the code, we're going to keep drinking the chlorine. The source brings up this idea of biography hallucination, where an AI will just invent facts about you.
Oh, I've seen this. It will confidently state you're the first hamster to summit Mount Everest.
I mean, I would love that on my resume. I feel like that would really open some doors. Accomplished mountaineer, species, hamster.
It would be impressive. But why does it happen?
It's a failure of source tracking. It's auto-completing reality. It sees the pattern first noun to summit Everest in its data, and it just fills in the blanks based on what's statistically plausible and not what's true.
Because there is no circuit for truth.
No circuit for truth. That's a chillingly accurate way to put it. We grew up assuming computers are logic engines. We think of them as truth machines.
A calculator is a truth machine.
Yes, a calculator is. 2 + 2 is always, unfailingly, 4. But these new AIs, these LLMs, they aren't calculators. They're dream machines. They're improv actors making it up as they go along.
Your car's check engine light doesn't hallucinate a problem. It might misinterpret a sensor reading, but it's not having a vision.
Right. One is an eerie mystical event. The other is a recall notice.
And this extends to the really sensitive stuff too, right? Like bias. When an AI outputs something that's clearly racist or sexist or culturally insensitive, there's a tendency to treat it like the oracle is revealing society's ugly hidden id.
Like it's holding up a dark mirror to our collective soul.
But it's not. I mean, it is in a way, isn't it? It's trained on our data.
It reflects the data, absolutely, but the AI itself isn't making a statement. It's not a social commentator. It's a magnifying glass held over the existing flaws in its training data.
So it's the toaster that only burns the bread on the left side because the heating coil on that side is faulty.
Exactly. It's not prophetic. It's defective. It needs to be recalibrated, not put through philosophical analysis. When we treat its bias as some kind of dark wisdom, we actually end up validating it. But when we treat it as bad data hygiene, we can actually fix it.
Okay, so we've got the mechanism. It's probability, not prophecy. It's stitching, not painting. I want to give our listeners a toolkit now to help them spot this kind of thinking in the wild.
A concept decoder.
Yes, a concept decoder for the next dinner party when your cousin starts talking about the soul of the machine. Term number 1, apophenia.
Apophenia. I love this word.
It sounds like a rare orchid, but it's really just a bug in our own brain's software.
Right. So here's the cocktail party definition for apophenia. It's the tendency to find meaningful patterns in completely random noise.
Like seeing the face of Jesus in a Cheeto, or hearing satanic messages when you play a rock album backwards.
Perfect examples. Or seeing a vast conspiracy theory in television static. In the context of AI, the source describes it as apophenia for the digital age. When the AI writes that nonsensical poem and online forums just light up with people asking, what does it know? That's apophenia in action.
We're so desperate to connect the dots.
Even when the dots are just random ink splatters, we are doing all the heavy lifting, the machine provides the noise, we provide the meaning.
It's collaborative fiction, except we don't realize we're the ones writing the entire plot.
Exactly.
Okay, term number 2, the anthropomorphic alibi. We touched on this earlier, but let's give it a clear definition. This is the machine's get-out-of-jail-free card.
It is absolutely the get-out-of-jail-free card for bad coding. It's the excuse we grant the machine by pretending it has a brain that can make mistakes. Oh, it's just hallucinating. It's a little confused today. It's trying its best.
I have definitely said that to my computer before. When the spinning wheel of death appears, I'm like, come on, buddy. You can do it. I believe in you.
We all have. It's a very human thing to do. But a toaster doesn't try. A toaster either functions or it fails. The anthropomorphic alibi allows tech companies to shrug off any real responsibility.
How so?
Well, if the machine is learning, then its mistakes are just growing pains rather than what they actually are, which is product defects. It cleverly shifts the entire frame from corporate liability to developmental psychology. It's brilliant marketing, but it's terrible for consumer rights.
It turns a bug into a character flaw.
Perfectly put.
Turn number 3 is one that really hit close to home for me. I am so guilty of this. It's called prompt coddling.
Ah, yes.
I find myself typing please and thank you into the ChatGPT window. I'm polite to it.
It's a fascinating behavior, isn't it? The source defines it as speaking to a piece of software as if you're praying to a temperamental god, trying to avoid its wrath.
You are a helpful and brilliant assistant with a PhD in clarity. I would be so grateful if you could, and thank you so much for your help. Please don't turn on me during the robot uprising.
We treat the prompt like a magic incantation. We whisper these sweet nothings to the algorithm. And why do we do it? Because we're afraid of getting gibberish back. We're afraid of triggering its biases, so we try to appease the oracle with politeness.
We think if we're nice to it, the spirit inside the machine will reward us with good, clean data.
But you would never do that with a faulty ignition switch on your car. You don't get in and say, you are a fast and reliable vehicle, a paragon of German engineering, oh mighty engine, please start for me today.
No, you just turn the key. And if it doesn't start, you call a mechanic. You don't sit there wondering if you somehow offended the car's sensibilities.
The very fact that we feel this need to coddle the prompt just proves how deeply we've bought into the myth. We think we're negotiating with an intelligence when all we're really doing is trying to find the right syntax to bypass a known bug.
It's just superstition. It's digital superstition. It's knocking on wood, but the wood is made of silicon.
Exactly.
Okay, final term, number 4. Explanation versus interpretation. And this, to me, feels like the actual solution.
This is the critical shift in mindset we all need to make. Right now, most of our discourse is stuck in interpretation. We ask, what is it thinking? What did it mean by that?
That's literary criticism. That's what you do with Shakespeare. You analyze Hamlet's intent.
Right. And what we need to be doing is explanation. We need to be asking which data path led to this specific output, which statistical weights were most heavily activated. That is debugging.
We need to stop acting like English majors and start acting like electricians.
Yes. When the lights in your house start to flicker, you don't stand in the dark asking what the house is feeling. You go check the fuse box.
Stop searching for the hidden meaning and start searching for the broken wire. That's a mantra for the AI age.
It should be.
Okay, so we've broken down the drama, the logic, and the vocabulary. Now I want to get to the aha moment, the real payoff. Because there is a master analogy in the source text that just brings all of this together perfectly.
I think I know which one you mean.
We've talked about the toaster, but there's another common appliance involved.
The vending machine.
The vending machine. This frames the entire transaction in a way that just cuts through all the mystical nonsense.
It really does. We mentioned the Chevy dealership chatbot earlier. The source compares AI to a simple vending machine. If you put $1 in a machine and you press button B4 for a Snickers bar, and a spark plug drops into the tray instead.
You don't stand there and say, wow, the machine is challenging my very definition of hunger.
You don't say, it is offering me a powerful metaphor for the failures of the industrial complex.
No. You say, this thing is broken and I want my dollar back.
Ah.
You kick the machine, you shake it, you get angry.
Precisely. The Chevy chatbot dispensing a car for $1 was a vending machine malfunction. It dispensed a legal contract instead of a candy bar. The fault wasn't in the stars, it was in the code. It was a simple transactional failure.
And if we start to view AI as a vending machine, inputs go in, outputs come out, we stop being mystical and we start being practical.
We realize that the magic is just a complex mechanism that we haven't properly audited yet.
And there's a specific scientific study mentioned that proves this isn't just an analogy, this isn't just us being cynical. There's hard empirical data The Google Toaster study.
This is one of my favorite pieces of evidence in this whole stack of material. It is absolutely damning for the intelligence narrative. Researchers created something called an adversarial patch.
Okay, what's that?
It basically looked like a trippy psychedelic sticker, just a small circle with some weird colorful patterns on it. To a human, it's just abstract art.
So they put the sticker on a table next to a banana. To a person, it just looks like a banana next to a weird sticker.
Exactly. They put it on a table next to a banana, and they showed a picture of this scene to a state-of-the-art AI computer vision system.
And what did the AI see?
It said, with 99% confidence, that the banana was a toaster.
A toaster. It looked directly at a piece of fruit and saw a kitchen appliance.
A toaster. Now, the question is why? Did the AI have some kind of philosophical breakthrough about the heating properties of fruit? Did it think, this banana contains the conceptual essence of toast making?
No, of course not.
It was a simple pattern matching failure, and the source material points out something brilliant here.
What's that?
Think about the training data sets. A banana is often yellow. A toaster can be yellow or silver. Both are often handheld, more or less. And crucially, both are very frequently found on kitchen counters, often near breakfast items.
Huh. So it just saw the pattern. Yellow object plus kitchen counter plus breakfast time, and the weird sticker completely scrambled its brain's probability matrix.
Yes. The AI never saw the essence of the banana. It just saw surface features, a collection of pixels, and that adversarial patch was designed to confuse its calculations. It was a toaster because the math said toaster, not because it had any concept of reality.
It proves definitively that the machine does not see. It calculates.
And calculations can be wrong in ways that our perception almost never is. A human might mistake a banana for a plantain, maybe. A human would never, ever mistake a banana for a toaster.
That right there is the aha moment for me. It's not thinking, it is matching. And when the match is wrong, it's not being creative or surrealist, it is just wrong. It's a math error.
And that leads us to some of the great audio hooks from the source text, the provocative thoughts that should really stick with us, the images you can't unsee.
Okay, hook number 1. AI is like a drunk genie granting its own wishes, laughing at you and throwing up.
That is a vivid image. It captures the chaotic, uncontrollable, and frankly unhelpful nature of the output when it really goes off the rails. It's not a wise sage. It's a chaotic element. It's the friend you can't take to a nice restaurant.
Hook number 2. We are standing in a digital kitchen, holding a smoking, misshapen piece of informational toast and earnestly debating what the kitchen appliance meant by it.
That just sums up the sheer absurdity of our current public discourse, doesn't it? We're analyzing the smoke signals from a broken machine. We're holding academic seminars on the charred crust. We're writing PhD dissertations on the meaning of the error message.
And then there's the mic drop quote. This one really stuck with me. The chief technology officer of the CIA once called AI a crazy drunk friend whose nonsense might open up the vista of our thinking.
Which sounds very romantic. It's a very Silicon Valley thing to say. Disrupt your thinking with chaos. Move fast and break things.
But the source material corrects him with this brutal, perfect line. The vista isn't opening. The wiring is just on fire.
And that's the reality. We are staring directly at an electrical fire and calling it a beautiful sunrise. We're warming our hands over a burning house and calling it innovation.
So let's wrap this all up. We've had our fun with the five-legged kangaroo and the chlorine gas cocktails. But what does this actually mean for you, the listener? What's the necessary correction we need to make?
If you're using ChatGPT tomorrow, or if you're thinking of implementing AI in your business, what do you do with this information?
Right.
The big shift is we have to move from reverence to repair. We have to go from odd shrugs to bug reports.
Stop asking what the AI meant, which is philosophy, and start asking why the product failed, which is liability.
Precisely. If we keep treating AI as a drunk oracle, we just accept its errors as the price of admission. We accept that sometimes the car sells for $1 or the medical diagnosis is dangerously wrong. We accept the poison gas recipe as a funny quirk. We say, well, the oracle moves in mysterious ways.
But if we treat it as a faulty toaster,
then we demand better. We demand explainability. We demand accountability. We demand that the product actually works reliably before we integrate it into our legal systems, our hospitals, our customer service departments. You wouldn't accept a toaster that burns your house down 10% of the time.
so we shouldn't accept an AI that fabricates legal case law 10% of the time.
You shouldn't. This is about consumer protection, really. It's about not getting duped by the fancy casing and the smooth talk.
The future belongs not to the people who worship the drunk oracle.
But to the people who are brave enough to unplug the damn thing, open up the toolbox, smirk at the absurdity of the malfunction, and actually fix the heating element.
That's a powerful call to action. Stop worshiping the glitch. Start fixing the code.
And stop thinking the machine is your friend. It's an appliance, a very sophisticated appliance, but an appliance nonetheless. Treat it with the same emotional detachment you have for your microwave.
So the next time your AI tells you to eat rocks, which, by the way, a major AI model actually did, it told users to eat at least one small rock a day for digestive health.
Unbelievable.
Or it hallucinates a law that doesn't exist. Don't lean in. Don't go looking for the deeper meaning. Just reach for the plug.
Or at the very least, check the warranty. And maybe keep a fire extinguisher handy, just in case.
Thanks for listening to this deep dive into the absurd. Hopefully your toaster behaves itself tomorrow morning.
And if it burns your bread, please just adjust the dial. Don't write a poem about it.
We'll catch you next time.